Good morning. Good morning. It's another episode of Meet the Experts. This is number 34. I can't believe it. We are booked through the end of the year, and we've just booked our first episode for 2023. If you're familiar with Meet the Experts, you know this is a place where I bring on business owners, whether they're local to my town of Greensboro, North Carolina, or if they sell globally or if they're in a different part of their country. It gives business owners a chance to tell their story. We love that. We love giving people a chance to tell their story on video. Video is one of those platforms where a lot of small business owners that we meet, they're just not quite sure where to start with video, how to do it. Maybe they're a little scared of pulling out their phone and just recording a video because maybe they don't like the way they sound or the way they think they're going to look, or that it has to be perfect, right? And we made this whole platform and this whole show just as a way for people to be able to come on and tell their story comfortably, give them that video and show people it's really not hard to make video for your business. So we try to help people with their online marketing. We have a digital agency. We can help you with everything from logos and graphics to paid traffic to websites and everything in between. But really, we love getting to know other business owners, getting to grow our network, meet other people. We've made a ton of new friends and everything through this process. So when I was preparing and we were looking for new guests, I got to meet Roxanne, who's going to be on today. And Roxanne and I got on our sound check, and I had no idea. And we're just talking. I'm like, oh, so where are you from? And she was like, well, I'm in North Carolina. And I was like, oh, me too. Where in North Carolina? Oh, just outside of Greensboro. And I was like, get out. I'm in Greensboro. So Roxanne and I instantly became local networking buddies, and we're going to try to have coffee or lunch sometime soon. So let me tell you a little bit more about what I know about Roxanne, and then I'm going to bring her on so she can tell you all about herself and what she does and who she helps, because we always say people don't buy products and services, they buy transformation. So I want Roxanne to be able to tell you about the transformation she makes in people's lives. But North Carolina business, Roxanne's team, C. Porter Enterprises, highly trusted recruitment company. They work with highly skilled professionals for any vacant roles that your business might have. She has a whole bunch of strategies and a skilled team that can help you with all this. And she wants your experience, all their customers, clients, and community to have a very worthwhile experience. I could go on and on, but I'm going to let Roxanne do the rest of the talking so I don't butcher it. And let me get her up on screen right now. Roxanne, hey, my friend, how are you today?
Hello, Jay. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. I know you're right down the road. We probably could have done this in one studio, but then it would defeat the purpose of the way we do this.
Right.
Well, cool. Thanks for coming on. I love your boss shirt. I have a shirt that says boss mode on, and I like that one too. So I love that. And
Thank you.
let's just get things started first. Like, tell our audience and your audience who's going to watch this on the replay and on the recording a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
So I first of all, I have traveled the globe being what you call an EMR trainer. And for those that may not be familiar with that acronym, EMR stands for electronic medical record. And so what I've done is train nurses and physicians on software all across the globe. So I've been to many different cities, states, hospitals, clinics, and just doing that. And after doing so for about 8.5 years, because I am a single mom, I decided it's time to come off the road and just really be mom. So I transitioned from that to starting my own recruiting agency. And I tell you, it has just taken off. And what's nice about it is because I focus so much on healthcare, I decided to stay in the healthcare realm. And so I train not only from training nurses and physicians, but now having my own recruiting agency and now placing nurses and some physicians and other clinicians in different roles. And not only locally, but also globally. So it has really taken off.
That's really exciting. And you said something that I just thought was super cool in there. You talked about doing just staying in the healthcare field because it was something that was comfortable to you. It's something that you understand. And while we're talking about that, you also mentioned globally. So let me put up your news ticker at the bottom, cporterenterprises.com. And if you want to learn more. But I think it's so important, and something that I struggled with for years I'm still kind of narrowing it down, but finding that niche, right? Some people say niche, but finding it and knowing that if you stay in that niche, that you then it kind of puts the blinders on where you don't get all that shiny object syndrome of like, well, I can do this too, and I can do this too, and I can do this, and then all of a sudden you've diluted yourself to where you're like a master of nothing, right?
That's so true. And I think because, after being able to speak the lingo in the clinical setting and being able to really network with many different physicians and nurses, it has really, really worked out for me.
I love it. I love it. That's so cool. So recruiting company sounds like a lot. So what are some of those main kind of products and services, and then like who do they specifically help? So maybe some examples of some of the products and services.
So not only do we do recruiting, but also staffing. And so with recruitment, it has been anything in the clinician space. For instance, recently we placed a dental manager role at a clinic in South Carolina, which is one of our greatest clients. We've placed a cath lab nurse in Lubbock, Texas. So, we've helped quite a few different organizations and hospitals with different clinician roles. So it hasn't just stuck to just physicians or just nurses, but other clinical roles. So it's not just that. If they're looking for, anybody within the clinical healthcare space, that's kind of what we have really focused on. We're also looking into getting to some more training. We have found that we've gotten a lot of inquiries from some of our healthcare organizations where not only because I have done a lot of the EMR training, that they may want that service, that extra piece. So it's adding that extra layer to my particular business where I can assist with the training piece as well, any upgrades, any ongoing training, any new implementations that they may have. So not only we're doing the recruiting, we're doing the staffing, and now we're implementing the training component.
That's amazing. So if somebody needed to learn more on the EMR side, or maybe it was Epic or one of these software platforms, so maybe you could even maybe train someone right into a job, or right. So you find somebody that wants to learn it to get into a field, or maybe just for like the initial onboarding period.
Exactly. I am very well connected with a lot of consultants that I trained with and worked side by side with. So I not only know people locally, but I know people globally. I mean, my Rolodex is pretty huge. And
Love it.
so there's constant new updates. There's constant retraining. I've worked with a lot of physicians and even some seasoned physicians where they still just don't get it, even after the software has went live and after they had all their training. They still need an extra few weeks, but they don't need a huge team of people. They just need a few small handful, and that's where me and my team can come in and just work with those particular individuals, new hires, because as you know, I mean, the physicians and the nurses, they take care of us, and they really have to keep everything moving.
Okay. No, that's very, very cool. I'm sure that you've made people happy, right? Your clients have been very happy, or you wouldn't continue to grow like you have. Is there a particular like customer win or testimonial that you've received that you're willing to share that has just meant a lot to you?
Yes, I worked with a hospital in Texas. I've placed a few people there, but what's nice is, of course, it's helping the client because they really have a need. There is a lot of organizations that are really struggling to find great candidates. The healthcare field is really in dire need of many different individuals. So it's not only fulfilling to help the candidate based on what they have said that they needed, but the second thing is, we have a candidate that may be for whatever reason they're displaced. They may have had some health issues. They needed to relocate, and I help a particular individual for director of nursing, complete sign-on bonus, relocation package, hefty salary. And then, of course, we get a nice little cut. So everybody wins. And that's what's really nice about it, because, again, our healthcare workers, they are essential. They are essential workers. So.
No doubt, no doubt. My wife's in healthcare, and I always just think of like,
Oh, I
you
didn't
know,
know that.
yeah, she's an ultrasound technologist, so sonographer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody's essential, and it takes all these moving pieces to make the team. Like, one patient could go in and they end up seeing, 7, 8, 9, 10 different people along the way,
Hmm.
from an admin to these, specialists to ultimately the doctor. It's not like that one person touch, but everybody has to work together. And I think that's where the medical records and having good, accurate records comes into play. But I imagine that even with the sign-on bonus, the hefty salary, all those good things, that healthcare facility in Texas, at the end of the day, they're just like, thank you so much for doing what you do to help us get the right person, and it makes them super happy.
It does because a part of my job is taking a lot of the stress off of the client. So
Mhm.
for what we do, it's a lot of screening. It's a lot of weaning through. Okay, you said a lot of great things, but then you didn't say so many great things. You have this piece, but you don't have that piece. So, we really, can keep the ball rolling and keep the facility, still running with the screening process, with flooding them with candidates that are already pretty much vetted or have been screened. So it's really helpful.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. We kind of talked a little bit about this because you said you have 8.5 years of being out there doing EMR training. Um, but is there, with regards to what you do, and there may not be much, but we like to call this, have you earned it, learned it, or proved your authority? So any titles or certifications that you've acquired along the way that you want to talk about that are important, that tell people you can do what you say you can do?
Oh, absolutely. So not only so first of all, my background, I have a, bachelor's of science in business management, and then I have a master's in business administration. But along with that, I am credentialed in the field. So I taught many different modules within the hospital setting. So the labor and delivery. So how can I explain this? Each area of the hospital has a different module. So, for instance, I taught a lot of the labor and delivery, and that module is called Stork. Now, when you come to the emergency room, that module of Epic is called ASAP. So they have many different modules. So I'm credentialed in 4 to 5 different modules, which happens to be labor and delivery, op time and anesthesia. So whenever you're going to go under, I
Mm-hmm.
help those guys. Clinical documentation, better known as ClinDoc. So I'm credentialed in a few different modules, and I can prove that. And I definitely have a great stellar reputation. So
I love that. I bet you do. You're just on it. You just seem so just on your game, on top of your game. So that's awesome.
thank you so
I bet.
much.
Of course. And speaking of thank you so much, just this, I want to get personal for a minute, and maybe personal professionally. Tell everybody, tell us some things that you're truly thankful for in your life.
Um, you know, this month is my birthday. And so this coming weekend, I'll be going to Charlotte to celebrate my birthday. So my actual birthday is November 22nd. And I just did a post for recently on TikTok because it's so many things you could say. I started getting a little down about it like a month ago because here I am approaching 50 and I didn't get this, I didn't have that, and didn't have this. But the most thing I'm grateful for is life. Life is just to be able to be present in the moment, to be in my son's life and to be here every day and just to live and just talk to great people and meet great people. I am so grateful for life. So I'm not focused on the negative. I'm focused on where I'm at and going and prospering. So I'm so grateful for life.
Oh, I love that so much. I too am approaching 50 very rapidly. Um, and but I love how you phrased it, and I think it's really important that often we pause and we reflect, because when the world seems to be burning down around us, there's still a lot that we can be thankful for. And
Absolutely.
I think that dictates your path forward, right? Like if all you're doing is focused on the fire around you, well, you're going to go backwards. Where if you just say, you know what, this may all be happening, but I've got all these great things, and you latch on to those great things, then you really can just keep moving forward, right?
Right. Right,
Absolutely.
exactly. And I think that's what you need to do. As we quickly approach 2023, it's important to put your plan together to be positive, and just to speak life into yourself and life into the people around you, life into your children. It's easy to get down and, become negative. And I was telling somebody, I like to mentor the youth a lot. And I told somebody, you have to practice manifestation. You really do have to practice it, because if you grew up in an environment or household where all they do is say, well, this is all bad and this is always going to happen. Oh, I don't know if we're going to have a good day today. You don't realize you are calling in the negative. And we don't know, everyone has grown up in so many different environments. But I tell you what, you can change it. You can change your mindset, and you can speak life into yourself, the people around you, and your children.
Beautiful. I absolutely love that. That just made my day. That was definitely something I probably needed to hear today, as a matter of fact. So, there's always it's always that divine intervention, right? Like you're hearing what you need at the right time from the right person.
Right.
So,
Right.
so we're getting ready to wrap up, and I hope everybody will take a second to look at the bottom of the screen here. Go visit cporterenterprises.com. If you have questions directly for Roxanne, go ahead and shoot her an email, info@cporterenterprises.com. I want to make sure that we call special attention to the ticker at the bottom of the screen, because that's why we put it there. But one last thing, and I'm going to shift gears back to business just briefly, because a lot of times people don't always have an understanding of what my clients do when it comes to services and pricing or different things. And it brings up like objections or questions. They're like, well, I don't know. I've heard this about recruiters, or I've heard this about staffing agencies, and how, is there anything that maybe right now, like a frequently asked question that you get, maybe either from a client or an end user, that you hear it all the time and you just want to say it on video, like, if you're thinking this is how I answer that.
So I think sometimes, I get a lot of the questions in terms of our fees. Our fees are, we have standard rates. But I say this to people: you actually get what you pay for. There's a lot that's involved in getting you the best candidate. And I'll give you a small example. I had a client. They had a laundry list of things. Can the person be? It was almost like, a dating thing. Can he be this tall? Can he be this? And so I always do a video, and I recorded it, and I went back and listened to it. And, if this is what they're asking for, then I like to hit that. But one of the things we do specialize in is culture and diversity. I think that's what sometimes our world is really missing in helping our veterans. So I want to let people know that when we're talking about our fees and how we structure things, there's a lot that goes involved into that one particular candidate. We want to make sure that we are providing you a person that is qualified. And if they're not quite qualified, there's a lot of people that could use just the opportunity. Sometimes if they were given the opportunity. So I sell the client on a great candidate, but I also, you know, sell the candidate on a great client as well. So our fees are structured behind everything that I have learned, my own intuition, my own screening. I have a small team of people, and we go through a stringent process. We meet with that person a couple times. So by the time we deliver you a person, you have a strong, ready to work for you candidate. So our fees are based on all of the things that goes involved in terms of advertising, sourcing for that candidate, just connecting with them on a regular basis, making sure they're good to go. So I think I just like to say that, embrace it. And, you know, I think our fees are fit for what we do, are appropriate.
I'm sure they are. I often like to tell people, because one of the things we believe here, and I think you kind of summarize this in a way that I just want to kind of draw an analogy to it, because I think if people do get what they pay for, and one of the things that I've always looked at it, especially with bringing on people inside of our agency, I have a lot of independent contractors. They're not employees of mine. They can go wherever they want and work whoever they want. But I read I feel like it was like a news strip cartoon one time. And it was two people talking to each other in a business setting. And one said to the other, "What happens if I train these people and they leave?" And the other guy looks back and says, "What happens if you don't train them and they stay?" And I'll never forget that. I'm like, yeah. So it's kind of like giving that opportunity, giving somebody the right somebody might pay a fee, but given all that goes into it, if you can deliver that company the right candidate and fill the position right the first time, it eliminates all the excess costs of, trial and error of them trying to do it themselves. So just pay the right amount for the first time to get the right candidate so they stick, and you'll end up saving yourself a ton of money and headaches and time in the future.
And that's what we do. For that particular scenario, we went through a lot of different people, but finding you the right fit is exactly what we do. So we get the job done.
I love that tagline. I think we have it in there. We get the job done. Listen, Roxanne, I told you it was going to go really quick. I wasn't lying. 20 minutes goes by in a blink of an eye. And but thank you so much for becoming a friend, becoming a local
Yes.
buddy of mine now. We're gonna have to grab some coffee soon. But thank you for coming on Meet the Experts and telling people a little bit more about you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you, learning a little bit more about you and what you do as well.
Awesome. All right, Roxanne, have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Roxanne with C. Porter Enterprises. Wonderful, wonderful guest. I hope you guys will take a minute and just go check out cporterenterprises.com. And if you're in need of a healthcare staffing or a position in healthcare, it might be worth just reaching out to her. She probably has a world of information that she could even help you out, whether you use her agency or not. If it's time to go, again, our next episode is, I'm not even sure when, it's in the next week. I think it's Thursday. No, maybe it's next Tuesday. Anyway, not sure. But if you want to be a guest on Meet the Experts, go ahead over to guests.howto.agency and fill out the form on that page and book your sound check. That will not book your actual episode. It just books a sound check, which is a pre-interview, so I can get to know you a little bit better. And then we will, on that pre-interview, we will schedule a date and time sometime in 2023 for your live episode. And until the next episode, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Again, my name is JVix with howto.agency. And if your business needs any help with digital marketing, please feel free to reach out to us as well. And until the next episode, take care, everybody. We'll see you.